your earlier book, The Lazarus Heist, and podcast. Let's get into that, right? So tell us about that group, what it pulled off in Bangladesh, and then how it proceeded with the proceeds of crime post that.
Yeah.
And why was it so significant? Why was, that podcast such a hit? Tell us about that as well.
Yes, well, the North Korea has a cyber army, which reportedly is something like 6,000 people. I don't know whether that figure is entirely believable because, of course, it partly depends who you define as a cyber army operative. There's loads of people who probably support and back up those people. I don't know. Anyway, and also it shouldn't surprise us that they do. I mean, India will have government cyber operatives. The UK has them. The US will have them. Government employed hackers is not a new or novel thing. The difference with North Korea's hackers, it's alleged, is that they are going after money. So unlike a lot of other government hackers who are looking mainly for information, for informational advantage, it's said that North Korea's hackers are going out to gain money, to actually steal money from banks, financial institutions, cryptocurrency firms. And they're doing this because North Korea has been put under sanctions because North Korea keeps testing nuclear weapons and launching missiles. So it's running out of money, and it's put its hackers on the send to bring in money. And that's really the story that we looked at in the Lazarus Heist podcast with my co-host Jean Lee, and also with the book that I wrote afterwards of the same name. Absolutely fascinating. The methodologies are really fascinating. The famous hack, I think, was from 2016, which was the attack on Bangladesh Bank, the national bank of Bangladesh. It's an attempted theft of $1 billion, which, had it happened, would have been hands down the biggest hack of all time. It was a remarkable effort. Through a series of mishaps and mistakes, the hackers luckily didn't get that $1 billion, but they did get about $80 million, which they then proceeded to launder through the Philippines, through money laundering networks in the Philippines. So sort of tracing the path of all of that was super interesting. That case, that is 8 years old. So it's a fascinating case, but it's 8 years old. One of the other cases we covered, this is an Indian bank called Cosmos Cooperative Bank. I'm sure some of your listeners will know of it. Very big bank. Again, targeted apparently by North Korean hackers. This was back in 2018. And they targeted the ATM system. They managed to make ATMs around the world spew out money, but the withdrawals for all those ATMs were sent back to Cosmos Cooperative Bank, which had to pay for them all. Something like $12 million was withdrawn from Cosmos Co-op Bank's accounts. And these were remarkable hacks, absolutely incredible hacks that we covered in the podcast and the book. But they're going back a bit. They're a bit old. The new trend for North Korea has been targeting, of course, cryptocurrency, the soft underbelly, if you like, of the international financial world. And one of their most recent hacks, this is 2022, was on a video game in Vietnam called Axie Infinity, where they managed to steal cryptocurrency from inside the game worth $625 million, which puts all their other hacks on banks and financial institutions into the shade. So that's the new tactic, is go after crypto, go after new forms of finance like gaming. And they're doing very well at it. Apparently $3 billion has been stolen, according to the United Nations, by North Korea's hackers by these techniques.
And so this is the Lazarus Group still in its same form today that's doing the crypto tactics, or are these groups a little bit amorphous?
I'll be honest here. I use the Lazarus Group to just describe North Korean government hackers generally. By the way, if you're in North Korea and you're hacking, you're a government hacker. You're given a computer by the government. There's no sort of freelance bedroom, schoolboy hacking going on in North Korea. It is almost all state-led. And I call the Lazarus Group, that's as a general term, people who really know this stuff and who research this and who follow North Korean government announcements and military tactics and divisions. There are a number of subgroups within the North Korean military establishment who carry out different types of hacks. And some of them will go after crypto, and some of them will go after other governments. Some of them will go after journalists. And so they know all these different groups. For me, that just gets too complicated and down in the weeds. I just call it Lazarus Group, and that's what I call it.